Okay. So I had it covered with my page and then it slipped and it must have picked up the mic. My fault.
All right, so let's move on because
Yep.
I don't think we want to get in that much detail for the council presentation, right? But I guess the main point is, do we want to put a parens here or something back to Bob's point?
So what's the wording he wants?
For those two, just put, you leave those as is, but then open space in the parens.
Yeah. Oh, just put
Sure,
up
that's
space
fine.
under-
Yeah.
Others we have some other things.
Or you can just put a, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, whatever.
I might ask this,
It's cluttery.
I know when I'm doing a pie chart in Excel, and this kind of thing shows up, but the little list on the side is the exact same words that's on the pie chart. There's room for the pie chart. They're just repeated. Can you get rid of it?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, because it serves no purpose.
I mean, so I might be a little different. So for me visually, when I look at blue, it draws my eyes right over. I don't even look, I haven't even been reading the black. It depends on how you interpret. Everyone has a different way with colors. So for me, I just keep looking at the color coding and I go right to the pie chart. I don't even read the black.
Well, if the list wasn't there, you would look at just at the pie chart.
Yeah, I don't know. It helps me to define it a little bit more. I think it could be maybe a little bit smaller.
I think the words on the pie chart could be much bigger.
Yeah, maybe make that smaller and move it down.
Well, it's, I guess we'll judge on that. It's got one slide and it's got duplicated words. I think a slide shouldn't have any duplications on it if you can get away with it. And certainly, there's so much room to have words like that. You actually have two different font sizes for the ones up top. You only use with
That was done on purpose.
Yeah, because we're focusing on
Is
that.
that-
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That was to say, oh, that's
That's
to
what-
draw your eyes to
yeah.
those.
I personally don't think it makes a difference one or the other. I don't think it takes away from the slide or adds to it. I don't know if it's worth changing. That's my opinion.
And I do notice that typo, but I have one.
It's a typo?
Two use. Two use.
Your word.
Unused.
The blue
Oh,
public schools isn't showing the percentage either.
okay. That I definitely have to fix.
If you can
Oh, the
extend that.
percentage on the dark blue.
Yeah, ooh. Okay.
All right, well, so back to high level. So you're okay with these. What about the guiding principles?
And then another error on here is on the left in black, it's UU.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, that one, okay, you got that one, okay.
Well, again, and I just want to do a quick overview of who's talking, then we're going to flip through pages.
Yeah, can we actually go back because I have Portia's going up first with the history and overview of the creation of the committee. I've got you doing introductions. Is that extending? Is that just a slide that says property of the committee members? Or are you doing
Kinda
also
under-
mission and purpose and the goals?
Kind of undecided at this. I don't know. That's what I want to get everybody's feeling.
Maybe you should read this, yeah. Yeah, let's go in order the slides, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you do your thing, maybe reading these two and say our committee consists of.
Well, that's where I was going to start. I'm going to start off with here.
Okay, perfect.
You'll do the intro. I'll do the committee members and mission and purpose. I'm not sure if does anybody have an objective. You want me to do it? Does anyone here want to jump on there?
Do you want to have Scott do it? Voluntold him to do it since he's, we'll start with the three counselors and then.
It doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter to me.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I think it's a good way to start off. You guys are really
So, if you want him to do both of those slides. if you want to do portion of them.
Well, he's not here, so I'll talk to him, but him and I will somehow figure these two out. And now we'll roll into committee members. That's a good suggestion. Larry's going to tackle these two.
Yeah.
16, 17. Who's doing 15?
Scott and David are gonna work out.
One other suggestion for these, maybe we should number the slides.
I can do that.
No, not all the way through.
The slides are not numbered,
No.
but the agenda package is numbered.
Agenda,
You're
yeah.
saying 15 and 16 and it doesn't.
Because sometimes someone might say, can you forward to slide 1 or 2, so if we could just, yeah, sorry.
So I will number the slides on the actual slideshow.
Yes. Yeah. That way when they print too, we can just refer to them.
So also, just back up on here, can you put present to council on a date? That way we have, this is always a date. All right, so guiding on the contract. Yeah. So, talk. Overall, what do we have? We have principles, and then you talk about the actual committee. Anyone want to make any suggestions on where and when they would like to speak? I think it's key. you three each do something.
I could do guiding principles.
Well, I think the three charts, I don't know the numbers, and it's goals, mission, purpose, and guiding principles. When you look at them, there's overlap, a lot of, um, and I'm sitting and going, if I'm being presented this, I think there might be some, even though that's, you know what it means? Is there gonna be some confusion on it? And I'm just, maybe we should can eliminate some of the interpretation. That would then make less words on the chart.
Get rid of goals.
Well,
I mean, the other one talks to it, right?
well, who would be, my view is the final vote gets to who's presenting it. So who would be presenting? Directing to you? Is that what you said?
No,
Oh,
I will say this. I'm, in my experience of putting on presentations, having more than 2 or 3 people get up to bat, it's gonna get kind of messy with the, you know, the changes, you know, exit left and then someone else comes on stage and then.
Yeah.
So
I would
yeah,
agree with
keep-
that normally, and I think in my experience, I agree with you. However, I think what I think is integral to this committee is for this council to know that it's not the 3 counselors dog and pony show. That really, to be honest, I'd said from the beginning, it's more your expertise. So I think it's more important, you know, with your historical, with your expertise in RFPs and with your expertise in your organization, I think it's more important to have you involved than it is for me, to be honest with you.
we're not, usually it's a cow, right?
Yeah.
So you do it sitting down.
Yeah, we'll do it right here.
Yeah, so we'll be sitting here, won't be using the podium,
Okay.
right?
well,
Unless you
that
want
would be, no, that'd be messy. I mean, you're right, you bouncing up and down.
Okay.
Oh,
I
definitely.
didn't understand that part, so we would be sitting.
We'd be
here.
right here.
We just line up the 7 of us right here. And maybe in order of
I rescind my
who's
comment,
speaking.
ignore me.
No, you're right. It would have been messy standing up.
All right, so I'm still stuck. I've got Larry's pie chart and data chart, and my only comment here on guiding principles is maybe it's more appropriate to be with the goals and mission, like that kind of seems like categorically makes more sense because it's going. I mean, either that or put it after the introduction of what the code committee is, right? Put it in between code and methodology. And I think that's the distinction to draw, Larry. I know you think that they're very similar, but the way that I look at mission and purpose, goals, guiding principles is we have a mission and purpose of what we're doing here as a property reuse committee. And then we have the guiding principles of the code, which is technically a different body.
Okay, but then that should then come after this chart.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I think
that's
it's
not-
maybe not going logically because it's in the wrong spot.
All right, so let's just recap then. So this is number 1, obviously. And number 2, we're calling what? Just because I'm using, I didn't print mine out of the
Mission, purpose,
mission and purpose is next.
and goals.
Wait, members, is that next? Oh, mission and purpose.
So it should be title slide, property reuse
Yep,
committee members,
3, yep,
mission and purpose.
mission and purpose. I got some of this. I didn't print mine out the way that I should have. I got the packet.
Goals. You look at that cover.
Problem is you're double sided.
Yeah, I'm double sided, that's why I'm getting
Take
all.
another copy.
Yeah,
One side.
This is my stuff.
The out of order portion of it.
well, it's just because they're one's this way, one's that way, so it's throwing me off.
You want to?
I should have printed it off.
Put them together that way. they're
Yeah.
bold.
Yeah. All right, so it's this cover sheet, then mission and purpose.
It's the cover sheet, and if you look at the back of the cover sheet, you should. Members? Nope.
No, not the way this one now. That's now.
So there you go.
Okay, so that's 2. Thank you.
This
Yep, 3. Okay,
goals is our 4th slide,
perfect, thank you.
and then we've got the pie chart is our 5th slide.
Perfect.
My chart is 5.
Pie chart is 5. The data slide is number 6.
The data slide is number 6. Yep,
This is where it's gonna.
okay, we're okay.
This is where it's gonna throw you off, because the suggestion is to move guiding principles after the committee discussing.
So it's 2.5.
So TOF would be,
Why would we put that, that's property reason guiding principle?
we would change that title. I was doing that just to brand it.
Okay, got it. So this is actually code guiding principle.
Yeah.
We're debating if this one is
The town-
7.
This would be 2.5 then, right? Is that what you're saying?
So we have 4 slides left, right? We're at number 6.
2.5.
You leading with this one?
No.
No.
What number is it?
Sure.
That would be 8.
Pages.
Oh, I see.
Right,
Okay.
so we'll come then, this will come back.
So what's 7?
Is the total members. Total membership,
This one,
Makeup.
right?
Oh. I don't think I have it. Oh, yes, I have it. Yes. Thank you. That's 7. Okay, and 8 is
Our guiding principles.
where's that? Oh, yes, got it. Thank you.
And would be methodology overview. And that would be that part. 11 would be next step. And then 12 through 14 are the additional details.
Well, I would say on methodology overview, it ends with next step, making recommendations, and the next chart is next steps.
Right?
But on this one, it ends with next steps. And the next chart is next steps. So that's,
I see what you mean,
it repeats the
but put
information.
it on methodology overview.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah, I guess we could
I would just
pull
put
out 4. And
pull
then that
out
would give
more room. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yep.
Yeah, that would look nice, actually. What do you think?
Yep, you're right, makes sense. No, would we eliminate 4?
eliminate 4 on methodology overview.
Eliminate 4 was 12.
No, on methodology, we're moving number 4, next steps off of this page.
Okay.
Slide number 11 is.
It's on
So it's
slide.
page 9, taking step 4 off and making it part of page 10. Is that right?
Well, it's already there.
It's already there.
It's already there.
And enlarging
And enlarging this.
page 9. Yeah. That will look nice.
So before we walk through each slide, does anyone have any preference on what, if anything, they'd like to do?
You can decide wherever you want. Okay.
Actually, and it wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't know if we can make the edit live and we can connect and we can pull the slide up here and put them in the order and just do a dry run.
Right now.
Yeah. We could just flip through it and see, make sure it looks the way we want.
Yeah, we can do that.
Do I have to add, let me join the Zoom call and then I can be it down and I'll present up.
This slide 7 to me, I think is the most critical. So
7?
whoever wants to speak about that, because I think this is what we're trying to get the council to do. Or the mayor to move forward with, setting up this committee. Because if the council says, let's wait until this process, then we're 6 months.
We gotta update this one. 7, we want to move it to 3, right?
Is that what you need to get done?
Yeah,
Yeah,
approval
I
to
have
move
the
forward.
Yeah.
I think I'm using the updated slide, so there might,
So just move that one to 3.
but I didn't want to change it just based on this.
Yeah.
I didn't need to be a PM. I know the sender or would spam. You're not spam. I get enough of these.
I would suggest
Zoom
that just
meetings from
the
the town.
way the show will go is that whoever kicks off, so if you're kicking off, you should also do the next steps because that wraps it up.
I was thinking that too.
That brings it back to you. You open and close it.
Well, ask for the signature, basically.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah, we've got some of the approval.
Sharing my screen.
So we know we have one, hopefully 2, 3.
Hopefully 3.
Just,
We don't have 3, we got to pay.
that's what I thought I'd say it, but.
No.
Don't know the answer. to that.
So the request was to show this as we live edit.
Yep, and then we can look for edits. Did we edit? Did we went?
I've done a couple things, but not everything.
Okay. Are you able to make it bigger? Yeah.
I mean.
Sure, you're able to drop the box down and so just make the whole screen. There we go, and then, oh, that looks good. Sometimes you can drop all the people in attendance out and you can make a screen, but that's good. Are we in the right order? It looks nice.
That looks great.
I love it. From what we had, oh, that looks, I mean, that looks great.
That doesn't.
Sometimes.
That's okay.
But I like how the images move a little bit, so it's kind of, it really nicely done. I'm glad we added you last meeting. The finisher, just in time. You make us look good. Because sometimes it's, you gotta see it. You know, for me, like you gotta,
Well, let's roll. Portia, you started off.
like, what are
I
we
mean,
doing?
not an action, just.
I don't have,
I mean, that's what
is there
I'm-
something you guys want me to,
You're talking about the history.
Give
Just-
me the
You
history.
don't have to talk about it now. I'm just saying, but you're gonna say, I'm talking about history, then we're gonna roll for.
well, I don't want to speak out of line, so what do you guys want? And what do you guys, the,
Exactly what you said last week.
Yeah, we said last time.
That would
I'll
be
go back
perfect.
and write that.
Record that.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought it'd be easy, just.
I'm not a script person, but yeah, I'll go back and, yeah, no.
Information early.
Oh, yeah, I do, I do like, bullet points that I follow, yeah, yeah. I don't have one with me. So is there anything in the opening?
Monday night and do a dry run. Something that help us.
We have to have a special meeting.
Oh, that is a special meeting. You're right. now.
Yeah.
So what? I'll send out some emails to get times and dates.
It's just gotta get
Sunday at 2.
published.
What are we doing? Do you want to go?
It's history from Portia.
Okay, so I'll just use what we used last time, if you guys think that was a good thing to
Yeah.
use, so,
Yep, this from last time.
all right.
David.
Then I was gonna speak about the committee, the makeup of the committee. Go into the mission and purpose, and this is Scott too, so. Go to the committee. Turn it over to Larry, right?
Yep, for the segue,
You want to take that, or you can't do it in,
no, I can't, yeah, I'll send you the new chart.
You can send me a new chart. Was there something to edit on the chart?
you remember the UU?
On the chart?
Yeah,
Yep.
on the left.
The percentages need to be shown.
The percentage needs to be on the right in the blue chart, and then the word UU. Under current, where it says current status of town.
Then the percentage of the public school. too.
Yeah.
Charts.
And are you able to move that down into the bottom left where the gray is, that whole color coordination, to see if it looks any different?
Here?
Yeah, like shrink it.
You can do underneath it.
Editing.
Yeah, yeah, make it smaller and then drop it in the gray box down like below. Get it off the pie. And then just make it a little bit smaller, just as there, perfect. I think that looks better.
Yeah, stretch it out, it's not. Now you gotta add in the percent, I guess.
Thank God for technology.
Yeah.
Do you have to have a black box? You could just go with white letters in the.
I don't know
That-
why it's
Yeah, you-
clicking your. Oh, it's not there at all.
Percentages.
yeah, you gotta type it in.
What's the percent that needs to be there?
Oh, let's see, percent of used public schools.
Yeah.
Used public schools.
4%.
Oh, wait, let me just look it up, I have it here.
It puts to 4%,
4%?
64, 66.
Nah, bigger than 4%.
76, 14%,
That sounds better.
14%.
Let me double check that. Documents, dope. Hope pie.
Well, another thought is we could schedule a meeting next Wednesday.
13.6%, but
When are we presenting? Oh, did you get a
Oh,
date?
Wednesday.
Oh, then, yeah, we could, I mean, I'm okay, we can make it a short meeting, like a 30-minute meeting, just do a dry run, everyone's got all the, and we'll actually say what we're gonna say. We're gonna present like we're doing it.
Does that work for everybody?
Next
What?
Monday,
Next Wednesday, we'll just come here, meet same time.
do a couple dry
Do a
runs.
drive, couple, yeah. we'll drive.
We'll present.
Yeah, why?
That looks great.
It'll give us time to fine tune these little things.
Yeah, that looks, I think that looks great.
You're gonna put the words open space in those boxes?
Do you want them in those boxes?
Yes.
Or do you, okay, thought we wanted them in the backup side. Use preserved and use protected.
Put it in parentheses, because it's,
If you want to keep use, protected, use, preserve them, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep those words. You guys wanna, I don't know, maybe I'm probably being too nitpicky, but I almost feel like the small pie should be a different color because the blue is kind of. And then the gray kind of blends, so maybe make one purple and the other one, I don't know, another color that we're not using, or is that? Just,
Tell me
visual-
which color you want to change and what color you want to change.
so the gray, I think, should be like purple or something. Because it just blends in with the backdrop a little bit, or whatever you think you have.
The way I read data.
Yeah.
Is if none of that information is as useful, I wouldn't make it, I would just make it different shades of gray
Okay,
and really emphasize that the green and the blue.
All we want to talk about.
Is that green and blue?
Green and blue.
I would make the rest monochromatic grays, you know, like just like a scale of grays.
should we take a look at that then?
Or at least very soft tints.
Yeah, just deviations on gray,
Someplace way up.
gray.
So then do we change the background then to something else?
Like this
We
is
just
it.
make it white and.
Yeah.
Too dark. Yeah, I mean, we could do lighter colors of green or purple or,
Very pale colors.
yeah, very pale. color. I think you wanna make them all the same color. This big one, I think should be lighter. just so you can take the- I'll do this background here.
Yeah, I'll just change it to a nice.
Protected needs to be open space too, right?
Yes,
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
So then if we do that, then that color grid is null and void then now.
Basically. But I know you said you liked it. What I'm gonna do here is. I wish there was a way I could reorder it. Because if I could reorder it, it would show the smaller pieces up top. You see what I mean? And then you would see that they're actually two different colors. I'd actually choose contrasting colors here. So we could do the blue and yellow, or we could do a red and green.
Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah. What do you guys like? Do you like it that only the ones that are colors, the ones we're talking about?
How do we feel about this?
Yeah, it's fine.
I do like all the color now.
Well, there's
I
other
like
colors
all
on this
colors
one.
too. I think
it's very colorful.
looking at it like that. Drives home. All we're talking. The other things are not interesting to us.
I don't know, I would need the data that you used to plug in this chart in order to change the titles over on the,
I say just get rid of it now.
you think so?
I think so. What do you think?
Well, we kept it for you, Portia. so.
No, but once we went, once we went, once we went all gray, it does,
it
Serve
has
purpose.
less value.
yeah.
Right,
Happy
they just
to-
delete it, that's easy. So, and can you get the 13.6% in there, or
The 13.6% in where?
unused public schools, and it never,
I will not put 13.6%
No, no.
because the rest are rounded up to.
You gotta
the
round
total
it.
number.
14.
14? Oh, it's up there. Okay, perfect.
I can't see that far.
Puts to a-
Oh, yeah.
There it is. And then and this is still on the side, right?
Uh, Yeah,
Oh, that's just the edit. Oh,
yeah,
we're in
so
the edit one.
Okay,
copy it, paste it.
so I don't have to give you my spreadsheet.
Let's see how this looks now when it goes back on. What do you guys think?
I mean, I could do the blue and gold if you really want to stay matchy matchy, but.
What do you guys think?
Larry, it's your slide. You're presenting it.
I was with her, I like the colors, but okay.
I
No,
kinda
that's
like
fine.
Colors too, personally, I think it breaks it up more, shows.
Yeah, that's fine. The point is the point, as we're talking about 7%. Of which, it's you use, oh, she took the other U out.
Yep,
Okay, so I guess I don't have to do that.
it's lifetime edits.
Oh, that wasn't your fault to begin with, so.
Oh, I'm sitting here going, how did I do that?
You.
Yeah, because the focus is going to be on the unused. The rest is for background information, thus being gray.
Yep.
So,
We have 60, I'm sorry, just knowing what I know about previous conversations about how much open space we have as a town. This looks like we have 66% of our town-owned land is used.
No. 8% of town-owned property, correct. Of town of the whole town, it's 8%.
8%, I thought it was closer to 20 something.
No, that's when you add in state, utilities,
Oh,
private,
sure.
there's a lot of other things. I try to make that point, is that we can pat ourselves on the shoulder, but it's not the town hasn't done as much as maybe people think. Towns did a little bit.
Tell you how many,
Yeah, I know.
of
When you talk to this box, the text on the bottom left here, the unused with building, I think it would be a good idea to mention the 3 or 4 or 5 schools that make up most of that 76 acres. Right?
Verbally?
In the script.
in the script.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
That's a director's note for you, Larry.
And that,
Yep.
and that other 113 is a lot of really small stuff, right, Larry?
Yes, actually, that was one of my footnotes is that if you look at anything over, I think the 80% is something like 13 properties, 12 properties. I mean, I refresh my actual number on it, but
Yeah, it's 48 acres, 100, no, acres and 48 parcels. On the bottom,
Yeah.
Acres, please.
the 48 should be parcels.
Parcels, yeah.
that should be parcels. That
Who's
wasn't,
got the master copy?
that was you.
The master copy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just adding our own lifetime.
Details,
Little Canada.
names of schools.
That's why I just give them some idea of what,
Yeah, well, there's only like 4 schools, Chester,
Lauren, can you just put a note in there so we don't forget about listing the schools?
He's putting it in his.
I have the notes, and it's also, by the way, it's on the detailed charts at back.
That's the live
Something
copy,
I
wasn't it?
need-
She's got the master copy.
Right, what do you?
No, that's
You didn't want
notes.
to add it in there to make it too wordy. He's gonna
Oh,
script,
script, okay.
yeah, he's gonna script verbal it. I blame.
Yep.
And then somehow we're working on this, is that? Who's doing that? Cleaning this up.
So we're moving on to slide 4.
Where are we? So,
So we're good with that?
with this,
That's slide 3, right?
this slide back.
Oh, 5. Jesus, I messed mine up again. Yes, 5.
Oh, I don't know this, what did I do? Counting down something. Do you decide, are you gonna pause on this at all, Larry, or?
I wasn't going to
Okay.
talk to it to say, we can pull out some of the points like the names of the schools and, the percentage breakdown of how many properties of any of over. I mean, part of the legal thing is under 3 acres, you don't have to do any of this legal stuff. You don't have to have a hearing by definition. Could, but it's not required.
number one,
You don't require a hearing if the town wants to sell something under 3 acres.
okay.
Or if it's over $10,000, you have to.
So looking this as a slide, it looks very wordy to me. That's why I wanted to put it up there to see.
Right, but we're not gonna speak on it, it's just the
Yeah.
table slides too.
Yeah.
And maybe that's your script is we've included, just tell them why.
Correct.
And not add that as a, what do you think? Can you zoom in on it like it's gonna be up there on the screen?
Yeah, I'm just typing something down to slide 4.
Mm.
Are we titling this by chart?
I thought it was a title,
On the left
current
side.
status of town-owned property.
Or is that-
Oh, you mean that chart?
No, let's see what this one looks like when it's like,
Oh,
it looks very wordy.
it is wordy.
It's just-
Can't we
It's a data
reformat it?
chart.
It's really your, the top is total, or maybe you do different boxes, right? The top is, you're talking total. And then this box here is. That's all of this, and all this stuff is all month.
Hmm.
Right?
Repeat that for me. please?
This is the summary, right?
Mhm.
All the summary information. And then these 4 bullet points are really what we're focused on, because that's this. All the other stuff is month.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Cause right, see now look at that as a slide, like if that's up on the screen as the whole, like it'll be the whole.
Well,
window.
that's what I'm saying. Well, I think we're gonna reformat.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna reformat it to, I don't know. You know, this is the summary of all the stuff we have, this Grunt has. This is what we're focused on, and this is all the other stuff. There's really 3 different pieces here. Is that what you see, Larry? I mean,
Well, we're focusing on the unused piece, which
Yeah.
is the second.
3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, those should have been indented so that they should.
Yeah, those 3rd,
Yeah,
4th.
yeah, I don't know how that, the unused, those 2 underneath it, those were indented in because it's part of unused.
So this one, so this and this,
And the 5th, 3rd, 4th, and 5th bullet are the slide before.
okay, so this is what's on the slide,
Right,
and they need to be grouped up like this.
yeah.
Okay.
And you might indent those because it somehow, I don't know why they're all bullets. Under unused, 76 acres, 113 acres are indented.
I would do 3 different boxes.
Oh,
Am I doing it correctly? there?
No,
No, not at all?
no,
Can you do-
This total out comes back to the edge, right?
yep,
Major bullet.
This one here?
No, that one's.
But this total is a major
yeah.
bullet.
Then unused goes out as well.
Unused,
Then now you got it,
now we got.
right?
yeah, those are, and the same below that, under used. Those 1, 2, 3, 4 bullets are indented. There you go. They're actually preserved and protected or defined in there, preserved through regulated parks as an example and. protected.
Indent, put a space.
Let's be.
Second bullet, or 3rd. Right, because this is the summary. This is the focus. This is the extra stuff.
Right.
Correct.
now what does that look like blown up? Is it still kind of, it looks a little better, doesn't it?
Am I not presenting? I am screen sharing. Why? Oh, host, dear host, please. Make the participants. Panel show. I think when you touched it, David, is it the touch screen? Something happened where this,
So what do I need to do?
somehow we could hide the panel.
Yeah.
To the black screen,
Near the bottom, there's.
right here. Yeah, I think this is a touch screen and I think you touched something.
Oh,
There we go.
you touched it, it worked.
You touched it.
It's a touch we learned. It's a little slow.
Now, I mean, the stuff on the bottom has nothing to do with town-owned property. This is other
What is it?
government. And that was a question you said. That's the other 20%. That's owned by somebody else. So you could delete that whole,
Yeah, you could.
The last 6 bullets.
yeah, And then that would make the other type big.
But does that bottom section, is it part of this slide? Yeah, it's in here, right?
It's grayed out.
Then I would keep it
Grayed
if it's
out.
budget.
No, I'm sorry. No,
No, it's not
not
on
in the
there.
it's not in any of that. These are other non-town owned properties.
Then it doesn't belong.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm saying. Take that out. Then I can make that bigger.
The state ones were big with the Saguaro school. On another note, then, when I think of Mystic Oral School, if we ever as a town want to seek to buy land, that's another part of this. We're just thinking developing.
That's state property.
Right, but we could be looking at, we should have a pulse on our state property in our town that was previously developed. And when I say previously developed, like, the Noank Gardens, the Mystic, the Noank School, the Groton Heights, there's plumbing, there's water going there, there was electric there. So wasn't the state-owned, Mystic Oral School. So that's like, so in some ways, if we wanted to seek that land again, we should kind of know what's not being used by the state that's around. Maybe that should be in our document, our final report somewhere. But I do think as this committee, there might be a time when we're thinking of, I don't know, maybe, your committee, the Housing Authority might want to collaborate with the town to buy the Mystic Oral School. As they were one of the they were one of the candidates for the RFP. And we should know that as a committee, what is around us that could be obtainable.
That's definitely good work for the TOP to do.
Right. We should be really looking at those lands, and when the state's going up, we should want to be a bidder on those or to have those developed for the sake of our community and our tax base.
Sure.
So I don't want to omit those state properties, even though we don't own them. If they're vacant or previously developed and not being used and are just sitting as a brownfield or whatever, we should keep those in our radar.
Are they in the backup detail that you have to support?
I agree that we should keep them in. I just don't think this is the slide to have that data.
The
Not
state
necessarily, no.
data is not in there.
It's not in this stuff, Larry?
Nope, I'm looking at,
Can we add it to this? And then just put like a one additional bullet here for additional information on yada, yada, yada. It's in this support.
hold on, I'm looking at what I got in the spreadsheet.
Because I would hate for the town to lose out on a good opportunity to purchase state land too. That could be used for the Groton Housing Authority. If they're selling it for $1 or something,
Yeah.
you guys could benefit.
Okay, state property, let's see what I got.
Actually, there might be a collaboration because they're using it for affordable housing.
Uh,
I mean, what if we leave that bullet point that said other governmental preserved or protected land in Groton is included in the additional?
Or you could mention in your text, it doesn't have to be on a slide, you could mention it.
Honestly.
Script.
We don't capsulate it in our pie.
If it's not showing up in that pie chart and we're saying this is the data that's feeding that pie chart, we shouldn't have it on there. We can put it in one of the other background slides.
Somewhere we need to, so for me, like when I think about how this community was, wheel was invented, a lot of it was on state property and people feeling there wasn't a fair RFP.
I just went through it and all we got is Mystic Oral School.
State property.
Say that again.
Mystic Oral School is the only one on the list.
Really, he only has, there's no other.
That's vacant.
A little blurb under here, state property, but these two add state properties.
I think we could always just add.
So what percent could we add them into the state? There's only one state property that's up, that's not being used?
It's 109 acres, but it's,
Change all this number.
now there is a conservation easement on about 40 acres, so you really got 60 acres to do.
I just think we should capture that somehow. It's an important piece of the tapestry of our town. So I think not putting it in the pie, because when I open up and I talk about how we got here, and people were feeling that they wanted a fair RFP process and we wanted to, be more competitive and make sure that, there's more open transparency and accountability for all land. The state property is one of the drivers that got us here.
I mean, you could add, since there's only one, you could add rounded 110 acres of oral school.
I don't think it goes on this though, because this is current.
This is town level, right?
But I do think it goes on, maybe on this as the final bullet point. However you add that one little line.
Or you make this say current status of town owned and state.
So that-
Property
I would
with it.
change.
Yeah.
Here's my recommendation.
Okay,
I have an additional backup slide put in at the end, additional property data. And we can say, change it to say, property data for state or privately owned unused data, or how. would
Well,
you
there is no
characterize
unused privately owned.
it?
By definition, if it's privately owned,
Inappropriate data.
yeah, can't do that.
somehow though, I think we, so somehow I think we do need to capture that 110 acres, 109 acres somewhere in our conversation.
It's really 60, as Larry said, because
I-
40 of it is
is-
owns it.
deep,
And
So
right.
60
There's
acres.
nothing gonna happen. to it.
Right,
So it's
right.
60.
That's-
So 60 acres then. How do we capture that 60 acres of state owned property, unused?
I think you add a bullet to that data slide. That's my personal opinion, because I think if you don't exclude it, it offers up the opportunity for someone to say, well, what about this? You guys didn't think of that? No.
Yeah, we did, but it's not town
I'm
owned.
sure it's in your, it's in your. What you pitched.
When you
Oh,
mentioned,
I meant that the big inventory list of the 400 and something properties that's owned, it's,
No, but when you're talking, you're gonna talk about this incredibly briefly. And one of the things is, one thing not captured on the pie chart because it's not.
town owned.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
the 60 acres.
So you-
That's it.
so do we then, after this slide, I'm not trying to make it big or anything. So we go from this slide to this breakout. Do we just add another slide and say, and we additionally have 60 acres of state-owned property that's undeveloped? And just put it on another page and,
I think if he says it, that's enough.
Yeah, not even verbally.
Station, I've added a bullet to this data slide. It says not captured on the pie chart is state-owned unused property, one parcel, 60 acres.
Yeah.
Right,
and it's developed.
That way it's
Correct.
captured, it's
Yeah.
in a document somewhere.
and then there's also the additional slide still at the end.
Right.
which we can leave or keep.
There's a graphic saying, it's just so many of the exact same fonts everywhere. Like you are having highlighted there, town Groton, it's a total of that. Make that bold, make the headers for the first words of each one of those things bold, so it pulls it out.
That might be a good idea. Yeah, I like that.
That slide looks good.
All right,
Larry, you good there?
that looks a lot better.
Yeah, that looks a lot
Yeah.
better. And probably, I mean, some of those words, I'll just talk to it on the pie chart. I mean, and just say the details, but a couple of highlight points. You know, while the pie chart's up there.
Yeah, it gives them information to review.
Yeah.
Before the meeting, you know.
Right.
All right, so then we roll into slide 7. Which in my opinion is. Oh, this is just, okay.
That's incorrect. So I've got 3 town councilors is what we had. shown.
I wasn't sure. I thought we said 3.
I thought we said 3 because most of our committees are 3.
Yes,
Yeah,
So 3 town, 2 RTM. That means 14 standing members.
2, 5, 6, 7.
So this went from 2 to 3.
12.
2 to 3 and the top went to 14.
That was lined up would be easier to read.
Kind of. But
So you know, all the numbers
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's like centered versus,
left just.
How this-
she's in a professional program here, not our,
Yeah,
yeah, that looks better.
And we should fine tune who would like to speak about these as well. Anyone has any?
Already speaking about them, I mean, it's just
just gonna read right through it.
read right through it, with
But
the
I-
exception that we are gonna have to address the idea that this is a big committee.
Right, and if the common complaint with some of these boards and commissions is that it's hard enough to get 7 members regularly.
Well, I don't think this would be hard because one town staff, that's easy. One board of education, they just appoint somebody. And then the 3 counselors, it's a committee of, so that's easy, like we just have our personal, we have other things that we do. And then you guys just bring in somebody from these. So I think that
Yeah.
first row is easy to do. That second column is the stakeholders. you know, that should, Groton Housing Authority, I mean, you guys would send somebody, I assume, to be a part of this. I don't think anyone would reject. Parks and Rec. I mean, Historic District, we have, somebody here now. We have almost all of these represented, other than which ones are we not representing here currently?
EDC,
EDC.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, that's it. So I mean, we're already doing it with the exception of the ad hoc, which we would. We have the 3 counselors. You count as an RTM member, so we're just down, huh?
I said, I don't think on this committee,
But
maybe in the future.
right, but I mean, like, you could, you know, right, if you stayed on, you could be one of the RTM members, and then the ad hoc ones would be coming as,
Mm.
I think it's doable. I don't mind reading through this, because since I'm just introducing it, I could say,
Yeah, I think the important thing here is the value of cutting a wide swath across the
Yeah.
community, both interests, concerns, and
Actually, kind of keep a pace to it. Let's say, don't go back to. It really is just to read it off and to defend the size of it. I don't mind taking that.
okay, go for it.
That's gonna be key.
You want to spell out, instead of saying coat, spell that out? Is that a little shocking to come?
It's right underneath it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's.
Property value.
it's right there.
underneath it, But you're gonna pull up that slide. You're gonna see TOPE.
Yeah, I agree.
And the
Town should say Town-owned property evaluation committee, and then
From here
Next
on
should
in,
say
yeah,
consisting of.
yeah.
First time you see it.
Yeah, Yeah.
Or you can put that at the top and on top of that and still put taupe right below it too.
Actually, on slide, no, that's right, that's the first time we see it. Slide 8, we see it again. There we can say so.
So you do 7, 8, 9? Is that what? Sorry. Well. And I was just thinking, I don't want to get too choppy, so
Yeah.
just doing one slide, because I'm doing one slide, think of it.
I think we only have like 10 slides, right?
I mean, actually, 8 kind of flows from 7, because you're talking about where the public, many stakeholders are involved, which is.
Okay.
And remember, we're taking you already took number 4 off, right? Or not yet?
Yep, so that comes,
Oh, sorry. Wrong slide. Chop it.
7 and 8 together.
And I think that's a nice point, yeah, because you kind of are now saying what it is, what we need, and then you're talking about the guiding principle. That does flow nicely together.
so who's doing 8?
He's doing 7 and 8. Yeah.
Someone ended.
Say they, it's not a connect.
And our leader concludes the last chart.
So now
We
we're
have
on
9.
9. Where's 9?
Oh, 9. Got it.
And the bunch.
Okay. Wait, which one's 9? That's 9.
the circle. Give you the information.
Right.
So you want to say, take that, you say, take that out, because it's not.
Taking that, if you, I think the graph is nice, but how do we,
So get rid of 10.
that's up to folks. If you like the visual there, we're talking about this slide right there.
I like the visual.
Well, I mean, the same thing, if you could do the visual, but then do the text from here,
Correct.
but you don't necessarily have to go to this chart, because
Right.
it's like,
Yeah, put that up. It looks nice. It's, yeah, doesn't look as wordy.
Don't necessarily have
Because the
to-
counselors are gonna have this in front of them.
Do we want to make this
Well-
slide more like the data slides then?
9 would be the script for 10,
9 would be the script.
Correct.
right?
Yes.
We don't need to dwell on it. Right?
So you don't need 9.
Right, it's, well,
I think we do need 9.
Yeah.
And remember 9, we're getting rid of number 4,
I mean,
right?
As much as we're focused on the in-person presentation.
Sure, you took it
remember
off, didn't you?
also A lot of people read the material.
And you took 4 off already on there, yeah.
Well, if you do 9, then what do you say when you're on 10? Isn't 10 repeated?
So we're thinking of having that up on the screen and the person, so if you want to put that on the big screen like that, it would be up. If the person say methodology overview. Number one, TOPE conducts
Okay,
reuse
so
and
this is on the
evaluation.
screen.
Correct.
This is the, right. Okay.
But the counselors would have this in front of them.
So who wants to be talking about these slides?
I'll do it, I'll do it. Because what I would say is that this is where we would say, the point of this process is to be iterative, right? So the TOPE is constantly reviewing parcels. The point of the process is also to have plenty of opportunity for active public engagement. Plenty of opportunity for the public to comment on the process and the parcels itself.
Right.
And so there was a piece of this original kind of flow that had the public engagement section down on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's not reflected here. I would make that script as it were. Is to sit here and go, property reuse committee or the TOPE would conduct an evaluation of parcel order, more often, at the direction of council. TOPE holds its public meetings. Like I'd go through the kind of like, these are the steps. And public engagement is happening here, and public engagement is happening here, and this is how we're engaging the public here. And this is where the public can speak on this.
Also, that right there, I think that chart also is really important that it's a circle that's never ending.
Yes.
The proper reuse, the TOPE, and the RFP, town council should be a constant,
Constant work in progress,
record player kind of moving.
right?
There should be no break. You're working, like there should be constant updates and constant communication, which we currently do not have. So that, to me, that visual is what we're achieving, which I actually like. If you take what each one of these are and you put property reuse and you put TOPE, maybe like here, this one looks good for this slide, and then take the word here and put it here. I actually think that's like our brand. That is like our exactly with that arrow. It looks exactly what we're trying to do. It is. It's a kind of a logo. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So
And it could be even moved, that logo could be moved on to that last slide.
this right here that I have on most of the slides,
Yep.
but then you want the arrows as well.
You don't have to. I'm just saying that this visual is beautiful, and just take the heading name and put it, like, see how we have the proper reuse committee name here. Take the word TOPE and put it here. Take the word town council, put it here. And that circle without those boxes on the side can be reused throughout anywhere. I mean, additional support to follow, that thing could be like right on this page. And it just, or on our cover page when we open up. I think that logo moving forward should be reused over and over, is all I'm saying. I think it's a beautiful visual of what we're trying to do with that connectivity and accessibility. So that's what I would say. The words I would use in this slide would be that connectability and accessibility for the community, the public, and all the other boards and commissions as well.
The cover sheet instead of having miniature.
Yeah,
Single heading for those.
Actually, yeah, you wouldn't even, yeah, property, you could just put that thing right there. It would look really nice. If you guys agree, I don't know.
No, that makes a lot of sense, especially the circular.
Because we want to get that visual that we are trying to be inclusive and have everybody around the table.
It's nice because if here it is, we'll introduce it here and 10 pages later. We say,
Yeah. It's a nice, you did a really good job with that, by the way.
So let's just walk through that, okay? So, but let's assume that the town council is gonna pick a property, right?
Or,
First off, right off the bat, aren't they eager to do?
so a lot of times, so as it currently stands, the town council doesn't pick a property. Economic development comes to us and says, we're thinking, we have a vision, we're gonna go after we're gonna go out to RFP. Let's go in executive session and let's talk, like sometimes it's, we already got these people that have been calling, and they got people that are already invested.
We've shown them 7%, and we've showed them that most of that 7% is schools.
Yeah.
Of, reuse property. I think that's what they're thinking of.
Yeah.
So,
The other question that was addressed to me as well as someone who was like, that incentive we have, and I can't think of the name right now, huh?
Yeah.
The TIF. Should TIF be part of this? Because it might not be that we're developing, it might be a private developer coming in and using TIF money. Should all the, so where does that fall? Someone asked me. where
TIF
does
is a
TIF-
zone. They're,
Yeah.
So TIP is a zone,
Yeah.
and well, it's an incentive program that is zone.
Is zones, right?
So where I addressed it is in the RFP policy, which is, we can get to it. That I did add a little bit more on when it would be appropriate, incentivizing proposals. So this isn't numbered, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, page 9 at the bottom, this paragraph here, it speaks to, in the case of TIF incentive, explain that so making sure that, and this is something that is a big finding in our state audits with RFPs. If you have an incentive for developers, you need to include it into your RFP. Because otherwise what you have is an unfair playing advantage for the proposers who
Right.
know about your incentive.
And those that don't.
That's interesting, yeah.
So what this section talks about is when you're incentivizing proposers, if TIF is going to be an option, you
Right.
need to put it in your RFP, so everybody knows about it. And
Gotcha.
you also need to say, just because we have it.
Doesn't mean you get it.
Get it, right, we have to clear that out, okay.
That's one of the big, like, when they do studies on TIF, one of the big things they say is that it's given out to freely, it's a but for.
Yeah, the buck and work laws.
There's a
Yeah.
but for clause in it.
Yeah.
needs to be enforced.
Yeah, it needs to be enforced.
That's my big.
All right. So that's good to know.
That's when someone asks you, what do we do about TIF? It's addressed in our RFP policy or our policy. Whatever.
And even if we don't get to the RFP, like, I think I don't know what you guys' plan are, I think we could maybe touch on it next Wednesday, but I think if we just get through this slide. And then the RFP is gonna take a lot of days to take through, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we want to, back to your point, I think we want to have the council okay to form the process of establishing the committee. I mean, there was someone that had interest in one of the properties that. Right?
Oh, he was Groton Heights, he
Groton
came, he
Heights.
spoke publicly at the public comment. Imagine if we had this committee where he could have come before the committee and said,
Well, that's
Right.
hopefully the plan in a month from now,
Yeah.
months from now, this committee would be formed.
Yeah.
He would come to that committee on the monthly and present and talk if he wants.
yeah,
Who's interested in Groton Heights?
a gentleman came for, I'd have to go back and watch the
Okay.
public comment.
I forget his name.
just a little,
The last public comment. if you
I'm
could-
just thinking if somebody's on it, so now kind of stepping onto this role, or maybe in that role, so we should move on quickly because. You don't want somebody moving into another project that we can,
here's the problem that we have with that, is that when you have a developer-led RFP process, what we see time and time again at the state level is that agencies are forming the RFP around that developer as opposed to what the agency needs actually are.
Right.
And so in the case of like Dillon Stadium, where they built a soccer stadium using an old, and needed a lot of work, it was gonna cost a lot. A developer came up and said, hey, I've already done all the specs on this. We know it's gonna be about this much, and why don't you, let us develop it, and instead of putting it out to evaluate their own needs, putting it out to RFP, they put out a RFP process, asked 2 other people to come bid, and just gave it to this other guy.
And I can agree with that. I think for Groton, one of the things that I always feel like I was missing is like, what is our mission? And it would be nice that we have a plan. This group has a plan of what does Groton need? You heard about low-income housing needs, the need for more affordable housing for young single moms or low-income families with children, not just elderly. And we need more elderly housing for, aging seniors, and they all want to downsize into cottages, so that we heard this. So then we should be spitting out what we want.
And
And-
then
and that-
people come to us.
Yeah.
And it's nice that, it's amazing that there's development interest, but the cautionary tale again and again. And again.
Right, don't rush it. We're getting the right thing.
And say what you need as opposed to being dictated.
And then last night I had asked John Burt that I feel if the housing authority is direct charged with benefiting the town, as he says, from river to river, the town, the city, the Mystic side, the Groton side, everything, then they should be under the first line of recommendation. When we look at a piece of property, if we're going to keep it or not, has it gone through the housing authority process? Is there a means there first? They shouldn't have to go to RFP, in my opinion. And that might be something that we could add into this document, that the Groton Housing Authority, obviously be binding legal documents later, but we should be checking to see, if we have this, that model that from 2021 or whatever, 2022 with the economic development, talking about the needs that we need. We should be checking our already established partner in our town, first before.
A tool in your toolbox.
Right, well, but they're sitting on an RFP process against Restler Homes. And look where we are now. I mean, they would have been done almost probably starting to break ground building.
No.
Oh.
Well, we didn't get that far. We didn't get it. We were.
You didn't make it back to the dress rehearsal. You didn't make it past the dress rehearsal.
We
We're
had,
devolving.
We digress, so let's move back. Stay above.
On that note, I do have to go.
just for the sake of my argument, the town council picks a property in that flow. And then,
Or
or anybody.
or the committee meets and somebody comes forward and
Okay.
wants to solicit a property, that goes to the town council.
Okay, but let's go with my scenario.
Okay,
Town council says, we want you to look at this property. Somebody on the TOP committee is the head honcho and calls a meeting. Right, and makes a public notice of it, because it's gonna be a public meeting. Right, and it's gonna be in here,
I don't know.
or it's gonna be at the
Thrive
Thrive
55.
55.
hopefully it's a monthly meeting or a quarterly meeting that's,
Well, this is a particular piece of property, but maybe, and they've all got ideas about it, you know, everyone's interested in it. So Thrive 55 is our,
With public comment,
so we would go there and listen to the public. First meeting. You know, listen to the public, or do these stakeholders first come up with ideas? You know, I'm, you know,
I mean,
The first initial meeting, I'd invite them to, I mean, they're on the tote. Right.
okay,
So as the representative of your housing authority commission, you come to the tote meeting, you take in input, you might give. some
We're listening.
comment, You're listening.
we're listening.
And then you're going to report back out to your committees. And then we can start raising red.
Then we're gonna
flags.
know, there's no other committee, it's just us.
Well, I'm saying it's,
well, and this,
you're the housing authority, right? So you're gonna come to this tote meeting as, say, a lead, we'll call it a liaison, right? You're here at tote. You hear everyone's complaints.
Yes,
you hear
right.
About the property.
Right,
you go,
okay.
There is a need here.
So then these stakeholders do whatever they do.
They do whatever they do.
Right.
And then we have meetings about this, like,
Okay,
this is a huge concern, it sounds like, for wetlands. Why don't we have another public hearing addressing the wetlands concern? We bring the wetlands commission.
or it might be stopped right away. So like the benefit of having multiple people from all these other side committees that we have no professional, like I
Right.
trust the boards that you guys do. You guys might bring in something right away saying, oh my God, someone wants to put this here. There's no way. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be voted down because I can't speak on behalf, but I'll tell you because I know this, and this is here and this waterway is here and that. Why go further through the process if the
Without-
people and the professionals can already say, it's 90% not gonna go.
It's problematic.
so there are obvious things we're gonna know.
But we're going out currently now as economic development. They go out to RFP on things before these guys and girls get involved. And then it's shot down later and everyone's going, oh no, what happened?
I mean, in case of rest, thank God.
Yeah, just slow down.
Per shot, what's the idea?
Right,
Right.
right.
Round table.
Make sure
So and our roundtable is open to the public.
it's always should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they may or may not speak, right?
They should,
So the citizens petitions at that meeting.
correct.
They can talk first, just like every other meeting.
every
Then-
quarterly meeting.
Then we do our thing.
Correct.
And they listen.
In this meeting,
Okay.
remember, it's not, there's interest in this property. What does Groton, need? What is this neighborhood?
But-
It's not what can we put here, what do they want to put here? It's what do we, need?
And it might, and for me, like if I was running the meeting, I don't see a harm if someone raises their hand. I think I love the fact that we can recognize them and say, did you have something else to add? Maybe they missed something. But it's gonna be depending on who's the chair is. But I think the more open the meeting is, the better. And there's nothing you saying you can't do that. We do it here. If someone raises their hand in our group, we acknowledge them. So it,
The idea about, well, what do we need? I said, well, here's what we need. But part of that menu is that this guy says he might like to build X. That's one of the pieces of information.
that's a piece
But it's
of
just one piece
information.
of information.
Correct.
It's not, and we could also say, but that sounds terrible to us.
What I would-
But I've already kind of established that with, I would then take that, and we can't make a decision to write anything at that point. We're just getting information.
we're gathering.
Happily, every 2 weeks is my group meets, and
Yeah.
I'm supposed to report to them.
Correct.
And get some information from them.
Yeah. And then you would be bringing back information.
Information.
Because someone might say, oh my God, there's a brownfield flooded up to that. We can't put a children's park right there.
Right. Yeah,
Versus this person going out and all these private executive sessions with agreements to purchase before we even know about, and I don't know.
I
I just,
agree, and I would, like you said, it's a piece of information, right? Like this parcel, whatever, this guy wants to put this here, we hadn't considered anything yet. This might not impact this, but do we want to move to the council and say, actually, there's a need over here that could be addressed, and we think it's. feasible.
and then before that, they say, okay, there's a brownfield and that people want to park, and then someone else comes and says, I don't want that there, and a whole group rises up and realizes that there's a problem with this and something else is, it allows for more people to have a voice. Currently, the town council has a public comment once a month. We go in executive session for a lot of the other things, and a lot of times, I didn't know until the end that you guys were even stakeholders or interest in in the Mystic Laurel School until, because that's all considered like classified. You know, because it's under negotiation,
That's our fee.
right? And
Moving on
it's,
to the presentation.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
on that point. Property reuse, upper left, top, upper right, is that, sounds like the same thing to me.
This,
Property is selected for review.
so it should be taupe and then public comment.
Yes. And then that other one is that little board, what is that one? That's, no, in the bottom left corner,
That is our,
RP, I would write that in there. I have to go to the meeting, guys. Thank you. I'll watch the rest of the meeting tomorrow
Okay.
or whenever it posts.
All right,
If
thank you.
anything's fun, send it to me.
You're a trooper, you watch all this stuff.
I love it. I love when you get hot mic too.
yeah.
So look, just stick with me. So we have this meeting, we're listening to people. And I've got an idea and you've got an idea. And what do we verbalize them? Do we vote on them?
And
We do.
No, I think there'll be several meetings. I think it's discussed things and then a plan comes up. It's gonna be a fluid thing, right? It's not gonna be
Yeah,
right
yeah.
all of a sudden, but the chair of that committee is gonna have to run that and eventually probably be a few meetings, but eventually there would be a vote to make a recommendation to the council on the many different items that are being brought forward.
This is the majority recommendation and that can be minority recommendation.
It's kind of it's kind of a sounding board to
Yeah.
present information to the council,
Right.
how I see it. A lot of due
The
diligence.
information we give them is, so we say actionable information, so that it's decision-making stuff. You know, it's not, it's as much as we can give them. Okay, there's an easement, you can't do this. There's no easement, you can do this, you know.
It's a recommendation.
Yeah,
We recommend a park here because it fits the P O C D. There's a million neighbors who came out and said they want
Right.
it. And development would be hindered by X, Y, development into, you know, the duplexes would be hindered by X, Y,
or development could include a park.
or development could include. a park. Right, sure.
And with that committee, there should be enough due diligence and enough citizen participation that it should be a pretty good recommendation at that point.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
oh,
that probably, all that won't happen at one meeting, so. this
Oh, no.
is probably, there'll be several meetings and finally it'll gel.
well, just for one piece of property you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
There should be multiple discussions going on about different properties.
Okay, on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, I'm not saying there is, but it could be.
Okay, so the agenda is, okay, so we discussed at different stages, they could be, all right. And eventually one pops out, recommendations go there. We're done. Right?
we're done.
We're done with that.
Yeah.
That was night.
We give them the recommendation, they could call us in, ask us questions or something, but
We give a recommendation to the town council. The town council says, love that, put it in an RFP.
Yeah.
RFP committee is stood up.
Yeah.
To write the RFP, evaluate it, and then give their recommendation.
Yeah. So that's what we're selling to them,
Correct.
is they're getting recommendations that have been vetted.
Vetted recommendations.
Right. Yeah. Okay,
And a process that continually evolves that over time, it's never, there's always constant work being done on properties being reviewed. Right? It's not just a
There's 2
one-year
year
thing.
things.
Yeah.
You haven't come up with something for us to review.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
So this is Lauren, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
John doesn't have anything. Because he walked out of the room and. we're
Neither does
finding out
Bob.
time. Bob doesn't either.
Bob doesn't have anything,
Would you like Bob?
Bob doesn't want anything.
Nothing. John, what would you like?
I could,
Whatever you guys want me to just
I could,
tell me.
I could
what
take a
else
shot
is done.
at this one if you want.
Which one's that?
This is 10. I think you've given me some good ideas. And I'll come up with a script for it.
Look, nobody up there likes me, so it's okay.
Oh.
And the same with me, so if you guys want to leave me off for better opportunity. that's
No,
okay.
I mean, actually, it's not a bad point. We're trying to sell something.
Yeah, well, I do like having Bob, because you got name recognition and people know you're GHA. I do like you being involved in
The only
presenting
thing
stuff.
is you guys got citizens on the committee and neither of your citizens are talking, even though we're expounding quite a bit about public engagement.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's
I
a
would
few
think-
spots, you run with it. It's all yours.
We'll just be the pretty
Look,
faces.
I don't need to talk because I just want this passed, right? And
That's-
how hard
that's how
it
I
is to
feel
get an unfunded, unassigned fund balance policy passed just because it came out of my court. was ridiculous.
This next step is back to you.
That's what they said, but it doesn't have to be.
That's
We
my
can-
feedback.
Like that one. Oh, we can, if the idea is to make sure it's inclusive.
You kicked it off.
Well, Portia will lead
Yeah, but that's more
for
of,
historical stuff.
that's historical stuff. Then you did the first stuff. Then at the end,
I'll come back.
Yeah.
you come back and ask for the order.
Yep. No, I agree. I just didn't want to, I don't want to
Yeah.
exclude them.
So you seal the deal.
Maybe you should do, but I'll do the token, just do this one with the slide. And we were just saying, well, that goes right together with the guiding principles. Maybe just do the guiding principles just to get you
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
slide number 8, just because. Just to get your voice in.
Slide number.
You're saying he does 8 and Lauren does 9?
More than a-
All right, I do 8 instead of,
I mean, you talked pretty eloquently about 9 a few minutes ago, so.
8 instead of, instead of 10?
Well, 9 and 10 are the same.
If you'll indulge me, can we run it from the top, just super quick, and then we'll sort out
Sure.
8, 9, 10, because that's confusing me.
I
We're
lost
sure-
track, right?
This
Here's
is,
Portia, here's David. David Scott, David Scott. Larry, Larry.
Hal.
Hal. Are you doing this one too, Hal?
Well, that was a question.
Hal, all yours. All right, Bob. Bob,
Where? Oh, right back.
David. We're done.
So which one is, go back, you're flipping them pretty fast.
she put you back on guide, on the final 2.
So if the guiding
Stick with
principle
guiding
is
principles.
me-
Guiding principles,
is me,
this little circle of fun.
I'm doing
Nope,
guiding.
nope,
principle.
nope. Hold on, that's,
Guiding principles is how, because it speaks to his membership. So he's speaking to membership and here's how we achieve it. Here's what we're doing with that. You're speaking
Yeah.
to 9 and 10,
Which is the methodology,
so which is the methodology.
graphics and text.
So you have this pretty little picture in the methodology. They're together, right? We're
You
trying
took
to,
the picture?
this is you.
I thought Hal, you said Hal had it.
No, I had it and then you took it. I feel like-
You just wrested it away from her.
So I like this and I gave it to you.
So
Happy birthday. Merry
what's Hal doing?
birthday. Doing the committee membership.
All right,
The guy-
okay. All right, 8's easy.
I will number these slides for ease of reference to everybody. These are the actions that I have. We did the data slide. I added color to it. We changed the preserve and protect open space. I need to add the words presented on 3/28. I need to number the slides. And I think that's it. Oh, and the logo.
can you do a check on, there's reuse, sometimes it's with the, sometimes it's not. Just a note of that.
Yeah.
And I had a question on page 3. To see council comments, concerns, and approval on a proposed draft document. Which objective? It just didn't sound proper to me.
To seek council comments, concerns, and approval on a proposed draft document, which objective is to. I didn't write it.
Who's to?
Um,
I think you take everything from which after done. Out.
which has the objective to.
Perfect.
I throw a monkey wrench into who's talking on what, just because when are we presenting this?
The 28th.
March 28th.
On the 20th, Tuesday.
28.
28th, 2/8.
Right.
Tuesday, the 28th.
Well, typically I have a planning and zoning. meeting. So I would have to pull out of that, or somebody else can.
You're up,
What you think is more valid?
Okay, I'll do what you guys want me to. You don't think it'll,
But you know, I mean, we will know,
I know, I would, a moment certainly would have to be
what's the time frame for your meeting?
7 to 8:30. Well, 7 to whenever, depending on, starts at 7. If you're doing it quite late, I can bug out early, possible.
He did say it's a very long agenda. I don't know where we're gonna fall.
Okay.
He did say it's a lengthy agenda.
Are you meeting here? Are you meeting somewhere
I
else?
meet next door.
yeah, they meet.
Okay,
Uh,
I'll come tag you in.
It's a long agenda, so it could be late.
Or, I mean, maybe he'll put us on early.
We'll be asleep by then.
Actually, I'll ask him if he put us on early. Because you have meetings. If we go right at 6:30, because
You're right, yeah, right out of the gate.
6:40 right out of the gate.
Are we happy with this?
And you
Yeah.
said you want to do a walkthrough,
I was thinking to walk through next week, right, at the same time.
Yeah.
same time as now, okay?
This will give us time to make some of those edits, send it back out, we'll get our talking points and we'll just do a live.
So I will number them right now. Actual numbers. So aside from that, I'll check for hyphenation.
I think it looks great.
You put up slide, we're calling slide 10, the logo. What's the chance to put that up?
That's the property risk committee logo for.
What are we doing with all, oh, okay, go back to, yeah, okay. Okay, so that the arrows show up nicely, on there, on the printed thing, they don't jump out at me as much, but on this, I do get.
Would you like them yellow?
Pardon?
Would you like them yellow?
No, I'm thinking about from each box, but maybe not. I think that's good. Right? You get the idea?
No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
that's
that's,
fine.
it's fine.
I can put them on the exterior, I believe, on, no,
Nope, interior,
interior.
your first instinct was correct.
I didn't,
I think on the
it popped out of
slide,
PowerPoint.
on the screen
PowerPoint's
it works.
instinct is
On here, I'm losing it, but it works up there.
Is that a set? You talking about the circle, the two circles?
Well, the arrow, just
The arrows, yeah.
go going clockwise.
I mean, can you make them, sound silly, but can you make them a little bit smaller? Because it look, if you take a quick look, it really doesn't look like two arrows. It looks like a circle.
I think might be the fact that the point of the arrow isn't big enough. So I don't know if you can compare,
I wouldn't make it, oh, yeah, wow.
so it's not. Yeah, I don't think you have control.
PowerPoint is too much. finicky.
Well, you can talk through it too, right? I mean, that's the integral piece though.
It's supposed to-
I think it looks better the way you originally had it.
Yeah. Just close it and say, don't save. Is
Control Z.
that what it is?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that works for me.
All right, so we're good with the presentation?
Yeah, I think it's great. Well done.
All right, so I don't know what time constraints people have,
That's
but
one other thing, what do we do with the rest of that data? Keep, there's more slides? What do we do with that?
Rest of the day.
It's not gonna
The
be
additional-
presented, it's just part of the package.
So for background information. For reference, for questions.
Who's doing that? You? Nobody. Nobody.
just in the printout, this piece of
Oh, it's in the
printout.
printout. Oh,
We go.
We should probably have the end.
There's queries,
okay.
Clips?
queries or concerns.
Oh, I thought you said clips, queries.
Questions, comments, quips, quotes, queries, or concerns.
Say, you did say clips.
It's just like-
I'll write that down. I won't remember that. Questions and concerns, maybe. All right, so this was great work. This is good. I'm not sure what anyone's time constraints are. I know we have to start digging into the documents. I'm not sure we're gonna get there tonight.
If you'd like me to introduce it, I can give a introduction, kick off the conversation.
I was gonna bring up this first, though. Bob, does this relate to anything with council?
Oh, well, that's for the RFP.
Okay, so then it's not integral for tonight.
We don't have to talk about it.
Okay.
It's a checklist or timeline.
Yeah, it's
So Lauren, if you wouldn't mind, because I think our goal was to have that go out and then everybody comment.
yeah, that's just a list of items and milestones.
So just from
I
a
think we
planning
need to get this
perspective,
done. Because this then should relate to this.
Yeah.
I would hope.
Well,
It's a process.
so for an overall game plan, we're gonna do the mock run on Wednesday. And then Lauren, you're gonna send out that document. And I think our goal was we're all comment, right, on the document that you're sending out,
Which document am I sending out?
the RFP.
The one that I already sent?
Yeah, it's already sent. I'm saying the next, I think our objective was we're all gonna review that, and provide comments.
Okay,
So that would be the next thing for the first meeting of April. Right? Everybody review the document and provide comments.
Event.
Yes, we all talked about everybody providing written comments. That way I can include all the written comments in the agenda package for the first meeting in April. So when we come to that meeting, we're prepared.
so we're just
Reviewed it.
saying on the slideshow from here on.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love you to give an overview, like, but I think the goal is for that first week of April, everybody make sure they read the document and provide comments. So when we come prepared and everything to read everybody else's comments. That's the goal. But if you want to kick off and give that,
Yeah, so the main differences between what this is versus what was initially reviewed before. And a lot of just kind of grammatical fixes, consistency thing. Removing some links that we can always add on to the back. The section about 4.0 that you had wanted me to add. Took a really hard look at that, really considered what was being asked. And I decided not to put it in here because what this doesn't do is write the RFP for you, right? It doesn't say what your standards are. It doesn't say what you need to consider an RFP. It's consider it, figure out, because this, I don't want this to be too much of a prescriptive document.
The intent,
It's a
the intent
procedure.
wasn't to be prescriptive, but that there's things that may or may not be addressed.
Right,
You know, affordable housing. I mean, what
Right.
my thought would be is that if an RFP is completed, we'd go back and say, was it considered? Is really the point. Not so. It's a question of not missing something or ignoring something. That was my only point.
so I believe that concern is right now the town needs affordable housing, right? In the future, we might not need it. By saying that the RFP writing committee, or whatever you want to call them, is to consider the town need, it's inclusive of everything now and in the future. Do you understand? Like,
Yeah, you kind of made it generic. I mean, I like to be more specific.
but
That's
the
me.
folks, but that's right? Like this isn't writing the RFP.
Yeah, no, I.
I mean,
It's a policy,
It's a policy for writing, and you don't,
or is it a manual? You
a
know,
procedure? How
you know what?
many-
Well, no, to your
Sorry.
point is that needs to contain a town need such as
Chad, you want to-
affordable, open space. But I already said affordable housing.
But by the time you get to, if the TOP has done its job, by the time you get to it, you might just say, no, we don't want it open, we don't want any kind of housing there.
Well, no,
But
yes,
we-
but that comes out in the wash.
There's no other content that's spoken to, right? I mean, this, when I say this is how to write it, you need a main proposal, you need a cost proposal. You need to have an evaluation committee. It's not, you need to include this, right? I mean, aside from, you need to talk about evaluation criteria, you need to talk about incentives, because that informs a level fair playing field. That's what I mean. I didn't want to get too into specifics.
Okay, so you said need to consider. You said the town's needs,
The town's need.
which is,
If you want to go through and find where you think it would be a good point to put that EG in.
okay. Yep.
I mean, I couldn't find where I thought it flowed and fit
Right.
the purpose of the document.
So are we reviewing this now? No.
April 1, we're getting into it. I just wanted to give a little overview and field any quick questions.
Okay.
I know that was something that Larry had wanted me to take a look at before.
Just one thing, you mentioned property reuse committee in here.
Right,
Shouldn't that be TOP?
could be.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
we're-
really good comment.
We're,
I wasn't sure about the nomenclature, but I still think. we are-
I'm not sure we're there yet.
Yeah, exactly. So the
so it won't
nomenclature
be
is a little
this
helpful.
committee.
So I can make a note. But.
Okay.
so there- This mostly, honestly, I'd love to take credit for this and act like I'm a genius. It's fitted around what OPM's current policy is. I took what we needed, left what we didn't. Made it fit what we know to be issues in our own town.
So it's
Taking
best
best
practice.
practices.
It's best
Okay.
practice.
Itself,
Yes.
yeah.
Lauren, that's where you work.
Agree with the-
Cameron?
That's why, yeah, you say best practices. That's it.
Okay.
I volunteer.
Familiar.
The state contracting standards board, I'm a board member, volunteer board member.
Understood. All right, the one thing I did want to make sure, I passed out the minutes and everybody have an opportunity to review them. I would like to get the January 4th minutes approved, if anyone would like to review and if you'd like to make a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Motion has been made by Larry, seconded by John. Any comments or questions or changes to the minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6-0 motion passes. And as I indicated, abstain. 6-0, 5-0. There's, as I indicated, next meeting, I'll have the 3 sets of minutes that we haven't reviewed yet. for everybody to approve. And next meeting is April 1st, is that right?
Next meeting, unless we have a special meeting to do our dry run, so
Well, he
would be the 22nd.
said that
Yeah, I'm sorry, the 22nd for this and then the
And
next.
also, wouldn't the 20th be considered a special meeting also, or no?
Does it have to be Wednesday?
The 22nd meeting?
Yeah, for our next rehearsal.
No, we can discuss it here. Who wants?
I
I
have,
absolutely cannot do the 23rd or the 24th.
I mean, the 21st or the 23rd would be better for me,
But I also don't think I'm speaking.
but
to
I
you.
can do the 22nd.
21st, I have an HDC meeting, so depending we have training that night too, so I'm here at 5:30.
All right, then 20, that's fine. I have a housing authority meeting that afternoon, but I'll be here.
22nd's okay then?
so when's the April meeting?
The 22nd at 5:30.
No, that's
Then the 28th is the council meeting, the committee of the whole.
right.
And then the next meeting will be April 5th.
Okay, April 5th.
Will be when we dig into the RFP.
I thought we were doing March 28th for the,
Yeah, 22nd and then 28th committee of the whole meeting, and then April 5th, we will meet again on the RFP.
okay.
Okay.
So 3 more meetings in a row, so 5 in a row. Impressive group.
Give me minutes for 28th.
That's true. Good point. Okay, any other comments from anyone? See if I have anyone here. I don't think we do. Nope. Okay, hearing none. How about a motion to adjourn? Anyone? Hal, move to adjourn. Anyone? We have a second?
Second.
We got all in favor of adjourn.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Are you gonna stay on that one?
You don't actually need to pull a vote on motion to adjourn.
I know, but we like it.
We just like to.
Yeah, we like it.
How-
Formality, I guess.